ready.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, September the 12th, 2022. Would like to personally welcome all of you who are joining us in the audience this evening, as well as those who may be joining us online. I'd like to call on our City Secretary at this time, Ms. Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Mr. Harp? Ms. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Matlock? Here. Ms. Page?
Here.
Here.
Ms. Hart?
We do have a full council this evening, and our invocation will be led by, and pledge will be led by Councilmember Jay Davis. If everyone will please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you tonight and just ask you for wisdom and just thank you for the many blessings that you have given our city, and just ask that you continue to do so. And Lord, just be with those that protect us and help run our cities, and just be with those in our capital in Washington, D.C., and give them the same wisdom, Lord. Lord, just ask for good health, and Lord, just continue to be with those that are dealing with COVID and all the many ills that are out there. Amen.
Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. In reference to some upcoming events in the community and our council meetings, our next regularly scheduled council meeting will be held on Monday, September the 26th. And then our council meetings during the month of October will be on October the 10th and October the 24th, 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Also, council, as a reminder, we have an upcoming special joint city council meeting that will be held tomorrow, September the 13th at 5:30 p.m. with the Macedonia ILO Municipal Utility District. And we will be meeting at their office, which is located at 701 South Kings Highway, Texarkana, Texas. This is a second meeting that we are having with the Macedonia ILO Municipal Utility District. Ms. Evans, I know that I plan to be there. We need how many for a quorum? We need 4 for a quorum. So who else will be able to attend that meeting tomorrow? Councilmember Davis, okay. Ms. Matlock, okay. We need one more. It's at 5:30. You'll be there? Okay, thank you, Ms. Hart. So that way we will have a quorum and we won't have to reschedule the meeting. So council, thank you very much for helping out with this important meeting tomorrow at 5:30 at the Macedonia ILO Municipal Utility Water District office. Also, in reference to Parks and Recreation events, as far as September, it's hard to believe the month is almost half over. On September the 17th, the Fall Soccer League will begin at Wallace Park. And also on September the 17th, Responsible Dog Owner and Training Day will be held at Spring Lake Park. And on September the 24th, the 5K Run Teal, that's T-E-A-L, There is a Cure, hosted by Nukes, benefiting the OCRA, will be held at Spring Lake Park. If you need more information about Parks and Recreation events, you can contact the city at 903-798-3978 or visit the city's website. I do have a couple of items that I would like to share with everyone this evening. The first item is a letter that is from one of our citizens that it's in the mail in the process of coming to the city. This letter is being sent to our city manager, Dr. David Orr. It's from Mr. Jimmy Taylor, who is a resident. He resides in Ward 4, and Mr. Taylor is an engineer, a former city employee. And so he wrote a very complimentary letter about some of our city staff. He happened to see me yesterday and told me that he had mailed a letter to Dr. Orr and to me, but he also wanted to hand deliver a copy of the letter to me. And so I really appreciated him for that and thanked him for the kind words that he provided in this letter that I'm about to read. Dear Dr. Orr, this correspondence is to commend your office for positioning an excellent staff within the building and code departments. This is to include Ms. Michelle Daniel, P.E., Executive Director, Mr. Keith Lee, CBO, and Mr. David Wyrick, Inspector. we had occasion to meet with the staff. They were very responsive, helpful, and informative in a professional manner while still complying with code requirements throughout the process. While being an ex-city employee, I'm well aware this is a thankless job ordinarily. However, I wish to reverse the trend with this thank you. On another note, Mr. Dustin Hensley, Director of Public Works, also continually monitors the drainage within our neighborhood as if it was his residence. And he replies by saying after that, "Job well done." And sincerely, Mr. Jimmy Taylor, as once again a resident of Ward 4 in Texarkana. So I want to thank Mr. Taylor for taking the time to pen this letter and provide it to the city, and I want to thank these city employees for the great work that they do. Also, I'd like to share with everyone this evening, we certainly received some very sad news over the course of the weekend. We had a person in our community I refer to as a business icon in our community who passed away this past Friday, September the 9th, and that would be David Gus Orr with the Orr Automotive Group. And I knew Mr. Orr, what a fine gentleman, did so much for our community, serving his church and other venues. And I would just like to take a few moments to share with everyone the accomplishments that Mr. Orr had over his many years of service and a little bit about some background information about him. David Orr was born on April 26, 1935 to Ruby and Gus Orr. If I remember correctly, his father, Mr. Gus Orr, was the founder of Orr Chevrolet. And thus the Gus Orr Drive, which is in front of Orr Chevrolet, is the street that the council voted to change the name on a few years ago in memory of his father. David lived in his hometown of Texarkana, Arkansas his entire life, except years he spent studying at Baylor School in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and then Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas. In 1956, he began his career in automotive sales, following in his father's footsteps and further forging the path for generations to come. He never fully retired. Up until his final weeks, he loved going to work at Orr Chevrolet every morning at the family business that he has known since he was a boy. Here are some of his accomplishments. Recipient of both the C.E. Palmer and the J.C.'s Distinguished Service Award. David was a public servant through and through. He served many nonprofits, including St. James Day School, president of the board, the Texarkana Chamber of Commerce, president, United Way of Greater Texarkana, campaign chairman, Salvation Army, board member, Red Cross, board member, and the Caddo Area Council Boy Scouts of America. He served as the leader of BSA Troop 14 for 25 years, and in that time received the Silver Beaver Award and the Order of the Arrow Vigil Award. In June of this year, he was presented with the 2022 Distinguished Citizen Award in recognition of his leadership and service. David was involved in government for many years. He served 2 terms as an Arkansas state legislator in the House of Representatives and was a Miller County Election Commission administrator for 25 years. He was active in youth athletics, serving as a Little League baseball and soccer coach, as well as serving on the Texarkana, Arkansas Baseball Association Board, helping to build the North Park Baseball Complex. Additionally, he was a board member for Texarkana Country Club and Commercial National Bank. He was a lifetime member of First United Methodist Church, Arkansas, serving as board chairman, president of United Methodist Men, and we don't want to leave this out, head pancake cook. So David is survived by his loving wife of 50 years, Mary Jane, who's a well-known artist in our community who gives back in that way. His children, David Jr. and Anita of Round Rock, Texas, Jason and wife Jonna of Searcy, and Joel of Texarkana. 4 grandchildren, Alex and Adam Orr of Texarkana, Stephen Orr of Indiana, and Chloe Orr of Round Rock, Texas. His younger brother, Maurice, and wife, Vicky of Texarkana, and many nieces and nephews. He was preceded in death by his parents as well as older siblings, Martha Orr Friedman and Marcus Orr. And funeral services for Mr. Orr will be held this coming Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m. at First United Methodist Church, Arkansas. Reception will follow at the church. And for those who plan to attend the funeral service, the family request that if you would please wear a mask during the funeral service. And there, in lieu of flowers, charitable donations can be made to David's honor to Hospice of Texarkana, First United Methodist Church, Texarkana, Arkansas, or a charity of your choice. So we certainly want to keep the Orr family in our thoughts and prayers with the loss of one of our key community business leaders within our community. So thoughts and prayers go out to the Orr family. At this time, I would like to provide a special presentation this evening to Mr. David Baumgardner, who recently retired after many years of service with LifeNet. And David was a very integral part of our Emergency Operations Center when we were going through the COVID pandemic, and did a great job of working with us on the EOC during that difficult time. And so, David, I would just like for you to come forward, and I would like to present to you a special certificate of recognition and also present you with the city lapel pin. I'm going to step down front. David, we'll step back here, and first of all, thank you for being here. I know you have your wife and your son with you this evening, and your board chair. That's right. Thank you all very much Buddy. Thank you for being here this evening as well. At this time, I'd like to read the certificate of recognition. Certificate of recognition awarded to President and CEO of LifeNet Incorporated, David Baumgardner, for his leadership and management of LifeNet Incorporated and for providing excellent EMS service and care to all citizens. The company, which now serves 7 counties covering 3 states, is a testament to his character and dedication since his hiring on August the 20th, 1998. David is to be commended for his contributions to LifeNet Incorporated and congratulated on his long, distinguished career. Thanking you, David Baumgardner, and wishing you all the best in this new chapter of your life. And I have signed it. It's dated today, September the 12th, 2022. I would like to present this to you and also present you with one of our city lapel pins that's worn by the council members, and the mayor represents the seal of the city, and it's also presented to citizens in the community for distinguished service. So I'm going to stop here and hand the microphone over to you, and if you can make it pretty brief anyway, but a long agenda. No, I'm just teasing. So anyway, just share with us a little bit about your work experience, anything, highlights or anything you would like to share, and we would just love to listen to you for a few minutes.
Well, as your appointee to the airport board, I can make it as short as you'd like if you intend to pass the airport budget. But thank you so much, Bob and David and the council, for doing this. You know, it's one of those jobs you don't do by yourself. And, you know, you look out there and you have law enforcement, and you got Eric, who's helped us. We don't do anything without Eric being around and his guys. So it's definitely a team effort. And, when my wife and I moved here 24 years ago, it was just her and me and 2 dogs. And now we're 2 kids, both graduates here. And, we'll be here. We're not moving. So we've really grown to love Texarkana. So for us, it's quite an honor.
And I understand that you're still doing some consulting work for...
Yeah, I have a few friends who occasionally let me work from home, and that's been nice, and I still do some stuff for LifeNet, obviously. So, again, thank you so much for the council and Eric and Dr. Orr.
You're welcome. You want to have them come up and take a quick photo or something? Would y'all like to come up? Yes.
The family.
As you can tell, my son is part of Texas High Band, so
Yeah.
he represents
What instrument?
trumpet player.
Trumpet player. Okay, well, good, well, good. Y'all have, you want somebody to take a picture for us? Okay, all right, David will do that, okay. Thank you all very much, all right. Best of luck to you, David, okay. Thank you, buddy. Okay, at this time, we'll move along with our agenda, open forum comments from the public. If there's anyone this evening who would like to address the council, you're welcome to do so. You will have up to 5 minutes to speak on any topic of your choosing. If you are here this evening and you are wanting to speak during one of our public hearings that we're having later on within our agenda, I just ask that you please wait until we get to that public hearing item. We'll be more than happy to listen to your comments at that particular time. We also request that you fill out a form that's located on the rack there on the wall by the door. And so, Ms. Evans, did we have any sheets completed this evening? Okay. Does anyone want to address the council this evening? Okay, not seeing anyone. We'll now move along to appointments to boards and commissions and committees. Do we have any appointments to boards, commissions, or committees this evening? Mr. Davis?
Mayor, I do have one. This is for the planning and zoning, and it's for one of our alternate positions, Ross Serene.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Ms. Williams?
Also, I have an appointment to the Historic Landmark Preservation Committee, Robert Gilroy.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Are there any others? Okay. Is there a motion for approval for those two names that have been placed in nomination?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right. Want to thank these citizens for their service to these very important boards and commissions within our community. At this time, we'll move along to our items for consideration. We do have 4 items on the consent agenda. Item 1 is to consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on August the 22nd, 2022 at 6 p.m. Item 2 is City Council receiving and accepting certification of unopposed candidates, Councilmember for Ward 4 and Councilmember for Ward 6, ordering cancellation of the general election to be held on November 8th, 2022, and certifying as unopposed and hereby elected Christy Page, Councilmember for Ward 4, and Jay Davis, Councilmember for Ward 6. And by the way, thank you all both for your service to your citizens in your wards in the community. Item number 3 is resolution number 2022-099, approving the application for the fiscal year 2022 Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant, providing a total in the amount of $13,871, with the city receiving $8,323 and Bowie County, Texas receiving $5,548. Item 4 is resolution number 2022-0102, approving the application for the fiscal year 2023 Bullet Resistant Shield Grant Program. Unless a council member would like to pull one or more items for further consideration, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been presented.
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Davis and a second by Councilmember Page. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The consent agenda has been approved. We do have a couple of action items on the agenda this evening. Item number 5 is ordinance number 2022-076, amending the budget estimate of the revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2022, and adopting the budget and appropriating resources for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022, and ending September 30th, 2023. We have had a public hearing on this item that was held at our last meeting on August the 22nd, 2022, and scheduled for council vote this evening. And council, I will share that once we do a motion in a second, that this particular item will require a roll call vote. So just so that you'll be aware. So is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Harp. All right, Ms. Evans, do you have a caption on this one? Okay, thank you.
Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the budget estimate of the revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2022, and adopting the budget and appropriating resources for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022, and ending September 30, 2023. Approving fleet capital replacement purchases and authorizing the city manager to make certain purchases authorized by law. Approving capital improvement plan projects and authorizing the city manager to incorporate projects into execution of the annual operating budget as funding is available. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith to the extent of such conflict, containing a severability clause, containing a superseding clause, providing for publication, and establishing an effective date.
All right, thank you, Ms. Evans. Roll call, please.
Mr. Harp?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Matlock?
Yes.
Ms. Page? Yes. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Hart?
Yes.
Ordinance passes by a vote of 6-0. And we'll now move along to item number 6, resolution number 2022-080, approving the fiscal year 2023 master fee list. Once again, we had a public hearing on this item at our last meeting on August the 22nd. And this evening, we have it scheduled for council consideration. Unless there's any further discussion or any questions, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the resolution. Is there a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. This item involves a resolution, so there's not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 7, ordinance number 2022-089, discussing and considering all matters incident and related to the issuance and sale of City of Texarkana, Texas combination tax and revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2022, including the adoption of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of such certificates. We have this item scheduled for this evening. Kristen?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you'll remember, on July 11th, 2022, the Council approved a notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation in an amount not to exceed $20,475,000. The first notice of intent was published in the Texarkana Gazette on July 17th, and the second notice of intent was published on July 24th. Since the publication, staff has not received any feedback from citizens. In order to officially issue the bonds, council must approve an ordinance authorizing the issuance, and Jason Hughes with Hilltop Securities is here to present on the results of the CO sale.
Good evening, Jason. Come on up to the podium, please. We're glad to have you with us this evening. Thank you for coming over.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. It's good to be with you. So Kristen gave a very good synopsis of what has been done to this point. So as she said, July 11th, you did pass that notice of intent. That's the first step that is required by state statute. What we're really doing is kind of almost the final step tonight, which is asking for your approval of the CO issuance. So you do have, I believe, a short summary that was provided to you before the council meeting. So I'll just go through that very briefly. These were sold through a private placement process. And so what we did is we invited qualified banks to submit a bid on these COs. And so as you can see here, we do have a final par amount of $20,475,000. That again does match the notice of intent. All of the cost of issuance that are associated with the COs are included in that. So after payment of those, $20,365,000 is what the city will net in project proceeds. The final true interest cost, or the average rate, if you will, is 4.03%. That was provided by Truist Bank. So the nice thing about that is a fixed rate. And so I'll talk about the debt service in just one second. Assuming your approval tonight, that rate's locked in. Your debt service payments are locked in. So even if rates go up 1% or 2% tomorrow, we're locked in at that 4.03. The other important thing there is they also provided the ability, or what's known as a call feature, which all that simply means is much like if you were to refinance your house, you have the ability to do that with these certificates of obligation. So even though we have that 4.03% locked in, You have the ability to change that in the sense in the future that you can either A, pay it off early, or B, you could refinance it if interest rates are lower at some point in the future. So again, that's solely at the city's ability to do so. So assuming your approval tonight, we had the closing schedule for October 11th. Tonight, what we do is we send all of the legal documents down to the Attorney General's office of the state of Texas. They review all public debt issuances. Approval, which we are very confident that they will approve that, then again, we close October 11th, and you'll have that full $20,365,000 delivered to you. So included within there, there's the sources of funds. Again, $20,475,000 is what we're asking for your approval. And then on that final page, the debt service. The 9/30/2023, the upcoming fiscal year. The total debt service was $1,500,000. That does match with what is in the budget, so we did hit that number. And then thereafter, as you can see, debt service actually decreases slightly, about $20,000, so about $1,480,000 on average. And again, that's a fixed debt service schedule with a fixed interest rate. So very happy with the results, and very happy with that 4.03%. Again, as I said, we lock in the interest rate with your approval tonight. Rates have been going up, so I think it's a good time to hit this and to be able to lock in a fixed rate. So with that, I'd certainly be happy to answer any kind of questions council may have.
So Judge, now assume that if the bonds are paid off earlier or prior to maturity, there's not any kind of a prepayment penalty?
That's correct, Mayor. There is no prepayment penalty for doing so.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the council this evening on this matter? Okay, very good. We certainly thank you for your time. Anything else that you need to share with us?
No, sir, that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Unless there's any further discussion on this item, I will entertain a motion for approval of the ordinance. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams and a second by Councilmember Hart. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of City of Texarkana, Texas, combination tax and revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2022, providing for the payment of said certificates of obligation by the levy of an ad valorem tax upon all taxable property within the city and a limited pledge of the surplus net revenues derived from the operation of the city's waterworks and sanitary sewer system, providing the terms and conditions of such certificates of obligation, and resolving other matters incident and relating to the issuance, payment, security, sale, and delivery of said certificates of obligation, including the approval and execution of a paying agent registrar agreement and a purchase letter, and providing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. At this time, we'll move along to our first briefings. We do have two items this evening under first briefings. Item one is ordinance number 2022-100, adopting and approving a 10-year water and sewer rate structure and scheduled increase of water and sewer rates per New Gen Strategies and Solutions water and sewer rate study. We will have a public hearing on this item at our next meeting on September the 26th. And we will also, council will vote at that particular time. And so this time we will have a briefing on this. So good evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before I get started, I do want to thank the advisory committee and the council members for your input on this rate study. I think it was a good collaboration. It allowed us to meet the financial needs of the utility as well as analyze the impact to the citizens of Texarkana, Texas. So we thank you for that. And we at TW are very excited that we might potentially be able to move forward with some of our desperately needed capital improvement projects for our water and sewer plant. Maybe recently you saw Jackson, Mississippi made the news. They had a complete failure of their water plant. They had about 100,000 people without water. And it was basically because they failed to maintain their plant because they simply just didn't have the funding. So again, like I said, we thank you for your input. It made quite a difference getting our rate study completed. I'm going to hit some of the highlights for, there's quite a few slides. I'm just going to hit some of the highlights, and then at the end, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to take those. So this is a 10-year rate plan. We're going to average around 30 days of cash on hand, hopefully build into the 60 days reserves by FY27. This plan also assumes 2 debt issuances of $20 million each, one in 2023 and then one in 2028 to fund capital projects. That's approximately $1.5 million annually in principal and interest payments. We're also planning to utilize $2.5 million of American Rescue Plan Act funding for 23 and 24 to help support the debt-funded capital projects. For the water rates on the fixed charge, you can also look at that as a minimum charge. Residential meters 3/4 inch or less are going to increase by $1.12 and then 50 cents annually. Commercial 3/4 inch meter or less, they're going to increase $1.46 and then the same 50 cents annually. On the volumetric charge, there's not going to be any increase for Tier 1 residential and commercial customers. Tier 1 represents customers that have a usage of 0 to 2,000 gallons. There will be increases in 23 for residential irrigation, all tiers, and also for tiers 2 through 5 for residential and commercial customers. The usage for tiers 2 through 5 is greater than 2,000 gallons. And then for FY 24 through 32, there will be average annual increases for all classes. On sewer, the fixed charge could also be the minimum charge. All the classes are going to increase $1.19 and then 50 cents annually after that. And on the volumetric charge related to sewer, there'll be annual increases for each class each year through 2032. This is showing the capital funding plan. You'll notice here at FY29, it shows our remaining capital needs at 0. All this means is that the proposed capital improvement plan projects have been fully funded at this point. I'm going to skip a couple of slides here. I'm going to get to the residential bill summary for a sample bill. 6,000 gallons of assumed usage. This does include irrigation. Most customers don't have irrigation, so you would just subtract that out if you're looking at an average household. So currently, a 6,000 gallon residential bill would be $106.90. The proposed rate structure would take that bill to $112.65. It's a 5% increase. I'm going to look at the same slide for commercial. The commercial bill, and this also includes irrigation, would currently be $396.44 for 20,000 gallons of usage. The proposed rate increase would take that bill to $447.74. It's a 12.94% increase.
Can you go back to the residential slide for just a second?
Sure.
I kind of wanted to, I didn't have a chance to really look at long term as that moves out. So currently 106.90 is the current bill.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're looking at 5% in 23. It's a little bit higher in 24, but that spike you're seeing has to do with the Riverbend fee increase. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the years you're looking at 4%, 3% as we go out through 2032.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. This is just a fund balance summary. It just gives a projected view of our revenues and expenses. You can see we're going to average about 30 days out until 2027 when we hope to hit the 60 days reserves. The rest of these slides are part of your agenda packet. They're just the rate schedules for the proposed rates. And let's see, I'm going to skip. I should say the water and infrastructure fees, they're not going to change. They're currently $1.50 per meter for residential and $3.75 per meter for commercial. Those will not change. This one slide, I was going to show you this last slide. This just gives you a breakdown of who your customers are and how they're going to be impacted by the rate changes. You can see the residential inside, or the majority of the Texas customers with a 5/8 meter. Same with the commercial inside. The majority of those have a 5/8 meter. We have a few customers with the large meters. The 6 and 8 inch are your mobile home parks. The 3 and 4 inch are going to be your large apartments and your hospitals. And then there's 4 frequency distributions for residential, commercial, And the irrigation, it just tells you what percent of bills exceed this usage, 10,000 gallons, 2,000 gallons, just kind of helps you see who your customers are and who's going to be impacted by the rate increase. And that's the conclusion of the slides. Are there any more questions?
Any questions by the council on this item? Okay.
All right,
Thanks a
thank
lot.
you. I
All right,
appreciate your
appreciate
time.
it. Okay, item number 2 is ordinance number 2022-0101, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Texarkana, Texas, Land Development Code, Chapter 140, Zoning, Article 8, Parking and Loading Regulations, Section 140-203, Parking Space Schedule. You'll have a public hearing on this item at our next meeting on September the 26th, and council consideration at that time. And Michelle is going to brief us on this item. Good evening, Michelle.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. And so a request was made for staff to look into the needs of parking for self-storage facilities, being that usually citizens come and go at different times of the day or on different days. And so staff had researched other cities and found that need to be, one spot for every 50 storage units. And so that is what we are bringing before y'all tonight, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Michelle? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, move along to our public hearings. We do have several public hearings scheduled for this evening. Item 1 is ordinance number 2022-078, fixing the tax rate and levy in and for the City of Texarkana, Texas, for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023, upon all taxable property in the City of Texarkana, Texas. We'll have a public hearing on this item this evening. And council, the format on handling all this has changed this year, so I've been schooled on this, so I'm going to do my best. But Kristen was there to stand by and jump in case that in case I get the cart, or is it the ox in the ditch, or the cart in the ditch, or both of them in the ditch?
Cart before the ox.
Well, she'll get us back on course. So at this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on ordinance number 2022-078. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I will declare the public hearing closed. And so we actually have 3 motions that we will break this down into. So I think Councilmember Harp has some verbiage for the first motion. Mr. Harp?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I move that the city adopt an ad valorem tax rate of 0.467811 on each $100 of assessed valuation of taxable property to fund the city's maintenance and operations expenditures for the next fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023.
Is there a second to Councilmember Harp's motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Councilmember Hart, and this particular first motion will require a roll call vote. So Ms. Evans, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Harp,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Matlock,
Yes.
Ms. Page,
Yes.
Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Hart.
Yes.
That motion passes by a vote of 6-0. And then we now have a second motion to consider. Mr. Hart?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I move that the city adopt an ad valorem tax rate of 0.182189 on each $100 of assessed valuation of taxable property for the purpose of maintaining an interest and sinking fund with which to pay debt service for the next fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023.
Is there a second to Councilmember Harp's motion?
Second.
We have a second by Councilmember Davis. Once again, this particular item will require a roll call vote. Ms. Evans, roll call, please.
Mr. Harp,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Matlock,
Yes.
Ms. Page, Mr. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Hart.
Yes.
And we do have one more motion. Mr. Harp?
I move that the, Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry.
Reflect for the record the motion has been, that carries.
Okay, Make a
Second motion carried.
Okay. Second motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Always nice to have the city attorney to guide me as well. All right. Mr. Hart?
Mr. Mayor and council, I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.650000, which is effectively 11.10% increase in the tax rate.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Councilmember Williams, and now at this time, Ms. Evans will read the caption. Ms. Evans?
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, fixing the tax rate and levy in and for the City of Texarkana, Texas, for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2023, upon all taxable property in the City of Texarkana, Texas, for the purpose of paying the current expenses of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022, and ending September 30, 2023, maintaining a sinking fund to retire the principal and interest of the bonded indebtedness and certificates of obligation of the city, providing for the rendition and assessment of taxes in accordance with the state law, providing that in the event any provisions of this ordinance be held unconstitutional and invalid, such holding shall not affect the remaining provisions thereof in conflict herewith, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Does this require roll
Roll call
call?
vote,
Roll call
yes.
as well, I'm sorry. Roll call vote, Ms. Evans?
Mr. Harp?
Yes.
Ms.
Almost got
Williams?
through it.
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Page? Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Hart?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right.
Yes.
We'll now move along to item number 2, ordinance number 2022-079, ratifying the recently adopted budget that contains a property tax rate that raises more total property taxes than the previous year. Note, as of the posting date of this agenda, the reference property tax proposed for the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget is a tax rate of 0.6500 per $100 of assessed valuation, the same tax rate adopted for fiscal year 2021-2022. This time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this ordinance. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward and state your name for the record. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Harp and a second by Councilmember Davis. Ms. Evans, caption please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, ratifying the recently adopted budget that contains a property tax rate that raises more total property taxes than the previous year and establishing an effective date.
And this one just requires a voice vote? Or is it
This is
a
roll call. This
Roll
is roll
call?
call.
Okay. Ms. Evans, if you will call the roll, please.
Mr. Harp?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Matlock?
Yes.
Ms. Page? Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Hart?
Yes.
All right. Ordinance passes unanimously by a vote of 6-0. Moving along to item number 3, resolution number 2022-092, approving the Texarkana Airport Authority to donate the Air Force Radome to the Air Force Radar Museum in Bellefontaine, Ohio. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. We do have the airport director, Mr. Paul Mierlich, in the audience in case anyone has a question. Public hearing is still open if anyone would like to come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. This is a resolution, so there's not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes unanimously. All right, Paul, you got a green light. So, okay, you're welcome. Moving along to item number 4, ordinance number 2022-094, approving an amendment to PD-11-4 to allow food sales on lots 17 through 19, Block 3, Feinberg Edition, located at 1502 Summer Hill Road. May Santos Cerritos Santana, owner, Rosa Maya, agent. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
If you'll please state your name for the record.
Olivia Hernandez.
Okay, all right. Yes, ma'am.
Maria Cerritos.
Okay, all right. And what would you like to share with the council this evening?
Well, Maria Cerritos, I just translated for her. She's been in business for 5 years, and his business was within the Verus Latino store. Since the store has been sold, the new owner asked her to rent another place. So she bought the place located on 1502 Summer Hill Road. And in Verus Latino store, what she does, or she used to sell, is fresh fruit, Mexican snacks, but the main business for her is the what we call corn on the cob, which requires, a pre-cooked corn be boiled before she sell it. So, and I believe that's one of the main needs for her to be approved on the new location that she just bought.
Okay. All right. Does council have a question in reference to this item? Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to share or add, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, thank you all very much for being here this evening.
All right.
Okay. All right. Public hearing is still open on this item. If anyone else would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I will declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? We have a motion by Councilmember Matlock and a second by Councilmember Page. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending PD-11-4 GR to allow the sale of food on lots 17 to 19, Block 3, Feinberg Edition, located at 1502 Summer Hill Road in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And the ordinance passes unanimously. Ma'am, good luck to you with your location there. And ma'am, if you don't mind, if you would go ahead and just write down your first and last name and hers and give that to Ms. Evans, the city secretary. That way we'll make sure in our documentation that we'll have, correct spelling of your names. Okay, all right. Well, small business is the backbone of this country. So,
Yes.
and like I said, we wish her much success with that. I'll probably come by and see you, all right? We need your hours of operation pretty soon. So anyway, so best of luck to you, ma'am. Okay, all right. At this time, we'll move along to item number 5, ordinance number 2022-095, granting a specific use permit to allow new and used auto sales outdoor lot on part of lots 1, 2, and 3, Block 2, Parish Place Edition, located at 2719 Summerhill Road. LaGuardia, Washington owner and Garco, Sojo agent. A 3/4 vote of the City Council is required to approve this request. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record.
Hello,
Good evening.
my name is Jirko Soho. I'm the owner of First Gear Auto Sales.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is open a small car dealership that will provide the best customer service possible. And we're doing this by listening to our customers and making sure that we be able to follow up on what they need and what they want. I believe that we'll be able to do this possible by keeping a small amount of cars and trying to listen what the customer needs. Also, I think this is going to be possible because my background on business and my MBA on that I had in here on Texas A&M.
Okay. So on the cars that you will have available, are you, and I'm sorry if I misunderstood you, are these cars that are going to be for sale, or these are cars that are going to be for lease?
Yeah, for sale.
For sale?
Yeah.
So these are used cars?
Used cars.
Okay, so it'd be like a used car lot
Yeah.
there on the corner.
It's gonna be a small used car, yes.
Yeah, and they're, you know, I've driven by there several times, and also referring to the information in the packet, that's a very small
Yes.
footprint there. I
Yes.
think you'd only have like, what, 8 spaces?
I have 5 spaces for displays and 5 spaces in front for customers.
Okay, and then would you be also utilizing that building that's on the corner as well? Would that be your office?
Yeah, that's the office.
The building that's
right
already there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, anything else you would like to share or add?
No, that's it.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Public hearing is still open on this item. If anyone else would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward. Yes, sir. Mr. Hart?
This requires a 3/4 vote of the council to approve, so that means it was denied at P&Z.
That's correct. P&Z did
Is-
deny. I think the vote was 5-0.
Okay, Michelle, do you have a reason why P&Z denied the request?
You can come up, please.
Thank you.
P&Z denied the request due to the size of the lot and the parking, and that is really all I can say about that, is they did deny it because of the size of the lot and the parking.
During the discussions, was it ever told that there was only going to be 5 cars for sale, or was it the 8 and then 1 for customer parking?
I do believe, yes, it was said that there would be 5 cars for sale, and then the rest would be for customer and employee parking.
Any other questions for Michelle?
Where did the 8 parking spots, I guess, come up then that was provided to us? So it states that the location requires 9 spaces, but the business leaving 8 parking spots. So I mean, so how many are currently at the location? Only 8?
I believe there's 9 spots at the location, but I'm not 100% sure on that without looking at it.
Sir, how many parking spots are currently available on that lot?
There are 5 parking spots for the inventory, and there are 5 parking spots for customers and personnel.
And that may be correct. I mean, I'm not
So
sure
the
about that
assumption
without looking.
that I'm assuming that we're 4 parking spots short for this particular location then, if that's the designation that he provided? Because if we're saying that it requires 9,
And there's 10 spots,
right, but 5 of them are
There.
going to be taken up by used cars.
right?
So,
And then,
I mean, that's what it says. This location requires 9. I'm assuming that's going to be part of zoning.
yes, but it requires 9 total spots. I'm not following you. I apologize. It requires 9 total spots from what I can recall.
Okay.
Hasn't this been a parking lot before? Car lot before?
I don't believe
Not to
so.
my knowledge.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, yeah. it was-
That's what I had heard. It was a doctor's
The car,
office.
what's it, I just went blank, the car dealer, the car lot next to it. Well, no, right next on the same corner, on the same side of the street. That's been there for quite some time. Car Mart, that's been there for quite some time, right. Yeah, on the other corner.
So you're saying there's 9, but should be 10? I mean, he's saying there's 10? I'm trying to follow you too.
Well, I'm assuming because it was provided to us that this location would require 9 parking spaces. So that's required by zoning. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so if 5 of them are going to be consumed by vehicles, technically there's only going to be 5 that are available.
For parking for customers and employees.
5 parking places is what it comes to. If he puts the inventory on the lot, then you're short, correct, then you're short about 4 or 5 parking spaces.
Because he should have
It's
9
not.
total inventory. It's not saying he has to have so many for parking and so many for, it just says you have to have 9 total. He got 9 total. Didn't say how many he had to have for customers and how many he had to have for cars. It's not specified.
Thank you, Ms. Daniels.
Any other
Thank you.
questions for Michelle? All right, thank you, Michelle. Public hearing is still open on this item. If anyone else would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward, state your name for the record. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart. We have a second by Councilmember Matlock. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-756 to allow the location of auto sales on part of lots 1, 2, and 3, Block 2, Parish Place, addition, located at 2719 Summer Hill Road in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ordinance passes by a vote of 6-0. All right. Sir, good luck to you with your business. I hope you do well there. All right. This time, move along to item number 6, ordinance number 2022-096, granting a specific use permit to allow a tattoo studio on Lot 1, Block 5, Richmond Hill, 2nd Edition, located at 3016 Richmond Road. Ken Autry, owner. Russell Beidler, agent. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm Russell Beidler.
Okay, and it's how you pronounce the last name?
You had it right the first
Oh,
time.
I did.
Beidler, yes, sir.
All right, that's
Yes,
a
sir.
miracle. All right, go ahead, sir.
Uh,
We're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
Floor's yours, sir.
I'm just looking to open a small private tattoo studio. I've been tattooing almost 20 years and a little art gallery. I'll be around Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We don't have any crazy business hours. I got 3 small kids, coach baseball on the weekends. I'm just going in trying to make a living.
Yes, sir. Okay. So would you have other employees there, or basically will you be
Not
operating
currently,
yourself?
No, it's just me
Just
and my
yourself
wife, and my
and your
wife
wife.
is a stay-at-home mom, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. Any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, public hearing is still open. If anyone else would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? Was that Ms. Matlock? Okay, motion by Ms. Matlock. Who seconded? Okay, Mr. Hart. All right, Ms. Evans, a caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning map showing the location, boundary, and use of certain property by the granting of specific use permit number S-757 to allow the location of a tattoo studio and a tenant space on Lot 1, Block 5, Richmond Hill, 2nd Edition, located at 3016 Richmond Road in the city of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Beidler, best of luck to you, sir, with your business.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, council, in reference to your agenda, the next 2 items are actually reversed. So item 7 that you see on the agenda is actually item 8, and item 8 is actually item 7. So I'm going to jump forward to the next page on page 6, and we'll do ordinance 2022-097 first. Ordinance number 2022-097, rezoning lots 1 and 2, Block 2, Richmond Place Edition, located at 3107 Richmond Road, from neighborhood service to general retail. Amos Croft, owner, and Kevin Dew, agent. At this time, I declare the public hearing open. If there's anyone who would like to address the council on this item, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? We have a motion by Councilmember Harp, a second by Councilmember Page. Ms. Evans, the caption, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Texarkana, Texas, by rezoning Lot 1, Block 2, Richmond Place, located at 3107 Richmond Road, in the City of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, from a neighborhood service to general retail, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ordinance passes unanimously. Okay, council, now we'll go back to the bottom of page 5, which is listed as item 7. It's actually item 8, and it relates to ordinance number 2022-098, granting an amendment to PD-22-1 for site plan approval on Lot 1, Block 2, Richmond Place, located at 3107 Richmond Road. Amos Croft, owner, and Kevin Dew, agent. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the ordinance? We have a motion by Councilmember Matlock and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those, the caption, please, Ms. Evans.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, amending PD-22-1GR for site plan approval on Lot 1, Block 2, Richmond Place, located at 3107 Richmond Road, in the City of Texarkana, Bowie County, Texas, containing a repealer clause, containing a severability clause, and establishing an effective date.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ordinance passes unanimously. That concludes our public hearing items. At this time, move along to City Manager's report. Dr. Orr.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates to pass along to you. First, we had a number of calls the Mayor and I did as part of Legislative Affairs outreach with McWilliams and Associates this past week, and so just wanted to update you on that. We spoke with Representative Sean Theory from Houston. She is the Vice Chair of House Ways and Means Committee, and then also Representative Jim Murphy, also from the Houston area, who was the former chair of the committee. Why this is important is because this committee heard testimony last week on a number of topics, including the Chapter 313 Economic Development Agreements and the voter approval effective tax rate legislation, part of which you approved tonight. And we'll keep you updated on those calls, and we'll continue to have calls with McWilliams and Associates throughout the fall, heading into the next legislative session. You've covered the Macedonia ILO, so I think we're good on quorum there. I wanted to mention Lake Rat-Patman. We're having a meeting this Saturday, the 17th, with the city and Riverbend's officials. This is our ongoing efforts to implement the ultimate rule curve for Lake Rat-Patman and our water rights. And so we're meeting with representatives from the U.S. Corps and also from the Texas State Preservation Office, and we'll provide updates after this weekend's meeting out at the lake. And then finally, save the date, and I know that our airport director had to step out, but we have a topping out ceremony scheduled tentatively for Thursday, September 22nd. And this marks the last structural beam that will be set in place. And so it's tentative because the beam is being set in place this week. So if all goes well, we'll have something on the 22nd. That coincides with the next airport board meeting as well. So we'll send out more information when all that's kind of set in place. But if you're available, please come out and attend that ceremony.
David, I was told that the time on that would be 9 a.m.
9 a.m., okay.
Yes, unless it changes, but
Okay.
at this point in time, it's 9 a.m.
And then just last thing, I wanted just to thank you again for your adoption of the FY23 budget. earlier tonight. Just also want to thank again our members of our Budget Advisory Committee that worked tirelessly on this, as well as staff. We certainly appreciate your vote of confidence tonight, and we look forward to executing the FY23 budget next year.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, very good. Mr. Alexander, thank you for your work with the advisory board along with the others, so we appreciate your efforts very much. This time, move along to administrative comments. Are any comments this evening by the council that we need to share with staff or anyone? Okay. Any final comments from staff, David?
No further comments.
All right. Christian, did I do okay with the vote? Okay, good, good. They'll change it back again next year, so I'll have to relearn it again. So, okay, at this time, the City Council is going to convene into closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with the city attorney. And for everyone here and those watching on live stream, the council does not anticipate taking any action after closed session other than reconvening in open session and adjourning the meeting. For that reason, we will end the live stream at this particular time. For those in the audience, thank you for being here this evening. And for those of you joining us live stream, we thank you for your participation as well and hope that you have a great evening.